Let me just be honest with you. It's not your fault. We're so conditioned to focus on like what we don't have when everything in my life was crumbling. And basically the reason why it is such a big part of my life and has been for like 10 years is because it completely changed my life. Why am I so sassy today? Hey guys, it's me again, Simone. Welcome to Simone's Blank Canvas. If you don't know me, I'm an artist and I live abroad. I'm from Scotland and I'm really into like spirituality and self-development, and all of that stuff kind of leaks into my art. But today is not an art video. It's about something else that I am really passionate about. The topic of today's video is gratitude. If you know me personally, then you probably know that gratitude has been a huge part of my life for probably the past 10 years. And basically the reason why it is such a big part of my life and has been for like 10 years is because when I discovered it and when I started to practice it consistently, it completely changed my life. So here's a little history of me and gratitude. It sounds like we've been in this little relationship, and I suppose we have an on and off relationship. But I started expressing gratitude in 2013 when everything in my life was crumbling. And I did it for like 2 years straight, like barely taking any days off. I would write down what I was grateful for every single day and read it after I'd written it, and then put it in a little mason jar. So I want to explain why and how expressing gratitude consistently can change my life and could change your life too. So when you start being grateful every single day for the things that are positive in your life, a few things happen. First of all, expressing gratitude is a skill, actually. Just like any other skill, you get better at it the more you do it, the more you practice it. And the longer you do it, the easier it gets. And when you first start doing it, it's again just like any other skill or habit, it can be quite difficult to do. Am I talking really slowly? So once you have started practicing it consistently, you start to just automatically feel gratitude more deeply the longer you practice it. So for example, when you first start trying to express gratitude and you're just kind of doing it because like you know it's good for you, you've read that it's good for you, or you heard me saying it's good for you. I think it's kind of common knowledge now that like expressing gratitude is something that benefits us in our life. But if you, at the beginning, if that's not habitual for you, you can go into it like, you know, doing it because of that. And so the actual feeling of gratitude can be quite difficult, like of genuine gratitude can be quite difficult to like bring up if it's not a state of being that you are really used to being in. So at the beginning, it is kind of almost like that fake it till you make it, and it might feel like quite inauthentic. I know like for me in the beginning, or when I spend like long periods of time without practicing gratitude and then I go back to it, it almost feels like I'm being fake when I'm like trying to feel grateful for these things. But it's just because you're like out of practice. You're like out of practice with being in that grateful state of being. And yeah, like fake it till you make it. The more that you just kind of at the beginning just fake it and be consistent, eventually it does get to a point where you genuinely feel that gratitude. And I also want to say that I hope that anybody watching this video who is in that kind of like, I feel like I'm being fake, it doesn't really feel genuine right now stage, doesn't like feel guilty about that or anything. Like, why can I not feel gratitude? Like, my life is so amazing, but I just can't feel it. It makes sense. It makes a lot of sense that if you haven't made this a habit, that it is difficult for you to genuinely feel that, because we are living in a society that actually is bombarding us and surrounding us with things that are actually designed to make us feel bad and to make us feel in lack, to make us feel like we actually need more to be happy. And gratitude is the absolute opposite of that. It's being like, wow, I have like more than enough already, and feeling happy about that. So if expressing and feeling gratitude for you feels like you can't do it, then just know that it's not your fault. It's like we're so conditioned to focus on like what we don't have, to focus on the problems, to fix the problems. And that comes from like evolution, you know, like where we hone in on the problem to fix it, because back in the day it could have meant life or death. I also want to say that, like therapy and anything else like that, that you will not feel the effects if you try it a couple of times and you're like, oh, I don't feel anything. Like, this is something that you need to do consistently. Like, you need to do it, yeah, for like weeks, maybe months before you start to actually genuinely feel that gratitude. Like, you need to practice this. And what was the other thing that I was going to say? It's gone. I hope it comes back to me. Yeah, so basically, the longer you do it, the deeper your gratitude gets. And every time that I have done this like for a long period of time, and I kind of think like, wow, my gratitude like can't get deeper than this. And then I do it for even longer and I realize, wow, it can get even deeper than this. Like, I'm at a stage in my gratitude journey now where I often cry from gratitude, because when I focus on it, I'm not just like going about my day and like feeling grateful in the supermarket and start crying in the supermarket, but like when I'm like at home and I'm meditating on things that I'm grateful for, or that like I'm journaling about things that I'm grateful for, and then I'm reading them back like quite often, I am so touched that like it comes out in emotion, it comes out in tears. And that might sound like crazy or scary, but it's actually like, it's really beautiful. It's a really beautiful place to be in, where you feel so blessed that it's actually bringing out like all these emotions, you know? When you can also reach this point where you feel like genuine gratitude for the small things that we often take for granted. You know, things like waking up in the morning, things like having food, having a meal, like having enough to eat, like being in a safe environment. Like, that is something that me too, like we all take so for granted. And when you do this consistently, you kind of realize like, wow, that is something to be so grateful for. And you genuinely like feel that I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed to be like somewhere safe and to have all my like basic needs met, to breathe another day, you know? And I also just want to make a little side note and say that I totally acknowledge and want to bring to attention that I am very, very privileged in this lifetime. Like, I'm from a first world country. I've always had like my basic needs met, And that is not the case for everybody. That is like totally not the case for everybody. Yeah, I just want to like acknowledge that that's a thing, that's a thing, and I know it's a thing, and that this, you know, when you're not even getting your basic needs met, that things are very, very, very different. So another little thing that happens when you start expressing gratitude regularly, and this is like a little happy accident, like I had no idea that this would happen when I first started expressing gratitude. Yeah, so the third thing that happens is, the more that you express and feel gratitude, the more the universe brings you things to be grateful for. And well, for me, this like totally makes sense, because the universe is just like a mirror reflecting back to you how you feel about yourself, about the world and stuff. So if you feel like so grateful and abundant, then the universe is gonna like reflect that back to you. So I didn't know this was gonna happen, but after it did happen, like it totally makes sense to me. So yeah, isn't that so cool that like you're already like feeling like so grateful, and then the universe is like, have more. Did I get darker? Yeah, and like as like another example of like how this happens, on the like negative side, like have you ever had a day where something like you off at the beginning of the day, so you're already in a bad mood, and then you just feel like the longer the day goes on, more and more things go wrong, more and more things make you angry? Well, that is the same thing. That is, you're angry, you're annoyed about things that are happening that you think like shouldn't be happening. So the universe is a mirror and it's giving you more of that. The same with like all other emotions. Like if you're really sad about something, the universe is going to bring you more things to be sad about. If you're very jealous, the universe is going to bring you more things to be jealous about. It's just showing you who you are. Like it's showing you who, like your state of being, like your vibration. So during this period in 2013 when my life was crumbling and I was doing this for like 2 years straight, and I was like really into this, and it had such like a significant like effect on my life that even like my uni work was inspired by gratitude. Like I started to create projects where I would like encourage people to express gratitude and kind of like just like see how the gratitude affected them, and like take videos of the results and stuff. So yeah, it was like all encompassing in my life after I started doing it regularly, and I was like, wow, this is changing my life. So during this period, I actually have a really nice story that I want to tell about, that I feel like was the universe kind of being like, yes, like gratitude, yeah, you should keep doing that. And this was like back when I was like totally not spiritual at all. But I remember this, I will always remember this story, because it made me feel like, oh, wow, something's a little bit magic going on here. So when I was at uni, I had like a part-time job at the weekends and some evenings, I think, when I wasn't going to uni classes. And because I was like financially supporting myself, I'm so blessed that I come from Scotland, so we actually get our uni paid for us. Yeah, we get like our uni paid for us, which like, yeah, I know how lucky I am for that. But for example, for things like my accommodation and stuff, like I did not have the money to pay for that, so I had to like take out some loans and grants, and even those were like not enough to actually like live off. So yeah, I was working part-time as well at a supermarket, and things were always quite tight. I was very, very, very conscious of money at all times. So one day and you know, like when you're working in a supermarket, you're getting like minimum wage and dealing with so much stress. But anyway, I was at work one day and we had this machine that you could put in notes to get coins so that you could put the coins in the vending machine. And I had a £5 note, and I somehow left the £5 note on top of the machine and like walked away. I just like left it there. And then later on that evening or the next day, I was like, shh, I left that £5 note on top of that machine. And at this time, like £5 was actually quite a lot for me to lose, because I was really like scraping by and I was really in a lack mindset back then. So I started off like kind of like beating myself up in my head, like, oh, you're so stupid, you left that on top of the machine, like imagine like all the things that we could have bought with that, like you need to be more careful, stop being so careless. And then because I'd been expressing gratitude, this other voice came into my head and was like, how nice is it when you find unexpected money? For example, like the usual example is like you find like a £10 note or something in your sofa and you're like, oh, I didn't know that was there, yay! You know that feeling that you just get when like unexpected money comes to you, even if it's small, it's just like the little like, oh wow, like I didn't know that was there, that's so nice. I thought of that feeling when you just like unexpectedly get some money and it feels kind of magical and like a little surprise. And I imagined that somebody would find that £5 on top of the machine. They would realize like, how can we find out who this belongs to? There's no point like handing it in anywhere. So they just kept it for themselves, and they had that happy little like, oh yay, surprise money feeling. And that kind of comforted me. That made me think like, okay, like, you know what? If I give somebody else that feeling, then I'm happy. That's cool that I left that money there. And then I forgot about that. And then the next day I was at Tesco. Tesco is a big supermarket chain in the UK. I walked in and there was a lady at the door and she was like, hi, like, sorry to bother you. Would you mind doing a survey for us about the layout of the store? And I was like, yeah, of course. So I can't remember what the survey was, walked around the store, got my stuff, did my little survey. When I was going out, gave the survey back to the lady, and then she was like, thank you so much for that, we really appreciate that, and for that we would like to give you £5. Exactly, £5. And I was like, what the f***? Like, I'm sorry, but I have never, since that moment, or even before that moment, ever been in a supermarket, done a survey, and unexpectedly got £5. Never, never ever. And this was literally the day after this happened, and I thought, oh well, you know what, like if this like gives somebody else that nice feeling, there, like in my mind there's like no denying that these two events were linked, and that this happened because I changed my mindset. I felt like grateful for this other person who was going to find my money. And yeah, in that moment I was like, what the hell is going on? So yeah, I just like really believe that that thing happened because I was in this like higher vibration of gratitude, and that was like a really small but really like to the point way of the universe saying like, I see you doing your gratitude, here's a little like magical mystical thing for you, woo! Yeah, and every time I think about that story it just makes me so happy. Yeah, so I just feel like if you change your energy, the universe is gonna like mirror that energy back to you. And I just feel like that story is such like concrete evidence of that. If you don't know me, I already just said my name is Simone. Do I need to do this every single video? Do people say what their channel is about? Let me be honest. Why are you, like, this is better when it's closer to my mouth, but where can I put it? I bet the sound is really good now though. I can't do that. I have already filmed the first half of this video and I was feeling really good that day, and I filmed all of this video and I filmed another video, and then I was like, okay, let's edit my videos, and I realized that the fucking camera wasn't on for the first half of the video. I don't know what happened. And there are some things that I just cannot reenact, like that were spontaneous, but we're gonna try our best. We're gonna try our best, okay? Maybe it's better if I just like hold this here like this. I don't know. And then I was like, to help me re-record, I will do voice typing, play the recording, do voice typing, and have like kind of a script that I can read off. But voice typing does not understand Scottish accents, so I might put a little clip of what the, the script looks like, because it's funny as f***. It doesn't make any sense. Alright, drink some water. Where are you now? Okay, look at your notes. How much battery do you have? I, women's blank canvas. I'm Simone. It's kind of obvious anyway. I'm Simone. Well, let's skip to the better bit. So if you know me, you know that graduate is such a huge part of my life. And husband, oh my god, for like changed my life. 10 years old at Holy changed my life, and it came into my life during a really dark changed my life because what? Through being creative, and I kind of think that's what we're on this earth to do. I think that everybody's creative in their own way, and I wish that people knew that more.